There is no accommodation, there is no conversation, there is no compromise from the federal government to help you work through this. I'm Trevor, the EIDL expert, and I'm on the video today to share with you my experience, my knowledge as a financing services professional about a very sensitive, important topic affecting small business owners like you who received a COVID economic injury disaster loan during the pandemic. And that topic is bankruptcy. We see you. We hear you. We read your comments. We read your emails. We are speaking to you when folks book a call and I speak to them. And the story we are hearing time and again is how so many of you who received the help you needed during the pandemic are now experiencing a nightmare that you don't deserve. Whatever the reasons why your business is struggling, whatever the causes of cash flow issues, whatever the impact of current economic conditions are on your small business, please know that Linda Ray and I passionately are committed to advising you, to helping you, and to supporting the small business community in the United States. We truly believe that you, the small business owner, you are the backbone of the American economy. Whether you have a little craft business and you sell 3D printed tchotchkes on the internet, or whether you have a dry cleaning business in Des Moines, Iowa, or a laundromat in Fargo, or a catering business in Northern California, we believe in you. And all of our videos are designed to demonstrate our support. We walk the talk, unlike the politicians who are not supporting you. And I wanted to start the video about this topic of bankruptcy with that essential statement of understanding, statement of mission, if you will, as to who we are and how deeply we care about you and your success. You've heard me say on these videos many times when we read YouTube comments, when we talk about how sad we are to hear about a small business failing. We truly mean that. We truly believe that the American economy, the American community of taxpayers, of business owners, your small local community, we, all of us, need you to be participants in the greater American success story. But you need to also understand that there is no shame in what is an otherwise technical legal concept of bankruptcy. As recently as this morning, we received emails where the person talks about a severe illness, but he doesn't want to file bankruptcy because he wants to keep his stuff. I spoke with someone yesterday, 82 years old, sunset years for retirement, Social Security is the only income, but owes money on a COVID EIDL and is concerned and worried about how to pay back that loan, how to maintain a quality of life for him and his wife, how to leave something behind for his children and his grandchildren. And comments that we see time and again here on our YouTube channel, folks facing severe financial challenges in their lives, many times due to external causations beyond their control. And that's, I think, an important concept for you to understand, beyond your control. Because I will tell you, as an expert in credit, I have read thousands of credit reports. I was a mortgage banker for 30 years. I have read thousands of credit reports. I have sat face to face with thousands of people. And in the last 5 years, with the pandemic and the COVID business that we built and this YouTube channel that we built, I've spoken to thousands of small business owners, either directly on the phone or on video chats or in email or in comments. And because credit is an area of special expertise for me, the underlying story that I hear all the time from folks when I raise the concept of surrendering the fight and using this legal concept of bankruptcy to give yourself a fresh start, a clean slate, a new place to begin, what I hear time and again is this sense of people don't want to relinquish control because they think they have control over this issue, whether the issue happened 6 years ago, a job loss, a car accident, a severe illness, the loss of a family member, a downturn in a small business owner's income. Issues that have happened in the past or may be happening right now. And yet these folks, time and again, continue to believe they have control over recovering from or making an impact on lessening the damage from this challenge, this issue, this financial disaster that has impounded their brain and their lives into this sphere of distress, anxiety, and fear and worry. And as a financial services person, for me, it's just the logic of the situation. Why are you trying to continue to find a way to pay off debts, bad debts, that you owe that money not because you're a bad person, not because you're a deadbeat, not because you're a bum, but because some horrible thing happened that has caused this problem for you, and you just can't claw your way out of the hole that you're in. In fact, in many cases, what I see when I read their credit reports, when I hear their stories, when I read your comments, I hear that you're actually getting deeper into the hole, and yet you still believe you have control. I think this is a primary issue that I've identified with your strenuous objections to the concept of filing a bankruptcy. We've done previous videos this year in 2025 about how the Small Business Administration, through dysfunctional systems, through terrible policy making, and through a complete lack of support from the congressional politicians who oversee the budget for this underfunded agency, how these decisions arbitrarily made against your interests as their constituents, as a taxpayer, as a contributor to the American economy, these arbitrary decisions are forcing you into a situation where you have only one option, which is essentially bankruptcy. They do not allow you to pick up the phone and work something out the way you would with the IRS. You want to go on a payment plan? Call the IRS. You owe back taxes? You want to negotiate a settlement? Call the IRS. You can get someone on the phone. You can have a human-to-human conversation with a professional representative of the federal government who will actually hear your story and attempt to accommodate you while at the same time performing their mission of protecting the American taxpayer. No such function exists in the Small Business Administration for these loans that you took during the pandemic. There is no attempt at realization or comprehension or compromise to allow the SBA to understand this landscape that you as a small business owner find yourself struggling over obstacles to overcome just to pay back a loan that you needed at the time. But you don't deserve the nightmare you're living through now. And again, you all seem to think you have control. We get the inquiries every day. What options do I have, Trevor and Linda? Please tell me, what options do I have? And we have to deliver the bad news to you. There are no options. Currently, as of this video, the SBA will potentially approve you for 6 months of 50% reduced payments through what they call short-term payment assistance, because they arbitrarily canceled the Hardship Accommodation program, which also allowed only a 6-month reduction at a time. But because the first 2 6-month periods were 90% reductions, at least that was some sense of accommodation to help a struggling business to make the payments and to survive and repay these long-term debts. But now, this short-term payment assistance program is only 6 months. And again, you know, if you work out a payment plan with the IRS, it is not for 6 months. It's for substantially longer than that. And if you negotiate an offer in compromise with the IRS, you can do that, make the payment, settle the debt, and move on with your life. Yeah, there's bureaucratic paperwork and procedures you have to follow, but it can get accomplished. With the Small Business Administration, there is no sense that there is a way of assisting you to accomplish the goal of getting your business back on track, or making the tough decision to say, you know what, this business is a bad idea now. I have to shut it down and move on. There is no way that the SBA works with you in either of those two scenarios. Forcing people into considering this concept of bankruptcy. And it's important to remember, we are not attorneys. This is not legal advice. I'm not discussing bankruptcy with you today from the perspective of giving you legal advice. Please consult with a bankruptcy attorney admitted to practice law in your state, who's admitted to the bankruptcy courts for your district, your region, and consult with those attorneys for the professional advice that you need. I'm talking about bankruptcy as a general concept in the milieu of capitalism and economics, and the situation that so many people find themselves in, because the federal government, through the SBA, does not provide any comfort to help you as a small business owner navigate this difficult period you're going through and give you some breathing room to work out a strategy to move forward, or to actually make the sober but difficult decision that it is time to close it down. Because all you are feeling day in and day out is the pressure of making these payments, because nobody wants to get in trouble with the federal government. This is the other theme that we see time and again in the comments and the emails, and especially on the phone calls that people book with us. All I hear are people who are honorable, moral, ethical, people trying to do the right thing, honest, hardworking small business owners who don't want to run afoul of the federal government and who are committed. As one person recently commented on our YouTube video, my mom taught me, pay your bills. I'm going to pay my bill. But what if you simply cannot pay the bill? And what if there is no one to talk to help you find a way to get through this temporary situation you're going through, so that ultimately you can pay the bill in full? These are 30-year loans, after all. The federal government is earning interest on your payments on the loan. The American taxpayer is gaining a profit from these loans. This is not free money you were given. And this idea that you are honest and to the end of your days you will attempt to do the right thing because you think you have control. And I'm here to tell you, in discussing this idea of bankruptcy as a general concept, you don't have the control. You've got to surrender that idea to think that you've got control. You don't have control. There is no relief in sight. To understand your predicament and have a conversation with you, or create a protocol, a procedure, a regulation, a situation where you can work through a challenge. And that's today. What about 10 years from now? What if something else terrible happens to the American economy 10 years from now and you're still making payments on these 30-year loans that you took out in 2020, 2021, and 2022? There's no realization or understanding. If there is none now, there's not going to be one in the future. I say this to you because I did federal government mortgage lending for 30 years. These procedures, these systems, these regulations, they don't change. There's minimal changes to an overall bureaucratic hierarchy of how these programs are structured by the Congress of the United States. Please stop blaming the agents at the Small Business Administration, the frontline troops that you have to deal with when you interact with them. It's not their fault. They're hardworking people who, in our experience of dealing with them every time, most every time, 99.9% of the time, they're earnest and dedicated to helping the small business owner. It's not their fault that their hands are tied by bureaucratic, hierarchical obstructions. They are limited in the resources they have to assist you with, and that's all the fault of the United States Congress. We've said that again, time and again, on our videos. We invite you to go back and watch those videos. I'm not going to go into those discussions now. I want to focus on this idea of bankruptcy. The third idea about bankruptcy you need to understand is there is no shame. The American credit industry, the American banking industry, of which I worked in that industry for 3 decades. I continue to work in that industry in this observer status, if you will, as a consultant. This industry has brainwashed American consumers and American business owners into this idea that there is tremendous shame attached to the idea of running into a life challenge that causes you to fall behind on paying your bills. Tremendous shame in the idea that you are not making it as a small business owner through no fault of your own, through external issues that are having an impact on your business, whatever they are. The industry has pounded into your skull that you should be ashamed of your failure as a business owner, ashamed of your failure to repay this pandemic loan that you got during this economic disaster of the COVID pandemic. And I'm here to tell you there is absolutely no shame whatsoever in failure, in filing bankruptcy. There is no shame. And I say this to you not just as the observer when someone's going through the challenge. I've read their credit reports, people who were in a car accident, job loss, divorce, illness, whatever family crisis that caused them to fall behind on credit cards, and I'm reading their credit report in the back of a real estate office, and I'm saying to them, listen, I can't qualify you for a mortgage today. You need to hire an attorney. Talk to an attorney about filing bankruptcy. Wipe the slate clean and move on. And I've heard those stories. The pride, the feeling of control, the feeling of shame. But I'm saying this to you not only as the observer on that beginning part of the path towards a bankruptcy, but on the other side of it, people who came back to me later and said, oh my God, Trevor, thank you. That advice changed our lives. And now we followed your other advice and we have rebuilt our credit, and now we want to see if you can help us to become homeowners. I've seen the results. You see the anxiety on their faces are released. You see that they have rebuilt their credit. You see they've been able to save money. I cannot say right now in 2025 that I've seen those results on the other side. For you small business owners experiencing these challenges and potentially hiring an attorney and discharging the COVID loan in bankruptcy. I haven't seen the results on the other side. I'm sure I will see those results in coming months and years. We have a client right now we've been working with since last year. He owns multiple restaurants, and through the SBA's mismanagement of the repayment program, his loans were sent to the U.S. Treasury for collection. We helped them to be returned, and we continue to work with him on a consulting basis. He's currently processing a bankruptcy to discharge the COVID loans on his restaurants. Each one is an individual LLC. I've been monitoring that, and as I see those results. But so for right now, I can't say to you, as we often do on this channel, where we share advice and strategies and information based upon our experiences of rolling up our sleeves and doing the work with you small business owners as consultants. I don't have that experience yet. Sadly, I'm sure I will have that experience. And that's the other part here. It's so sad that you all have to experience this stress and duress and anxiety and fear and worry. And all you're trying to do is the right thing. And you know what I hear all the time, by the way, from people who file bankruptcy? All of them say it was the best thing they ever did. It saved their lives. It changed their lives. It gave them the fresh start that the whole concept is designed to do. Wipe the slate clean. Reset to zero. And when I say zero, I don't mean zero in the failing negative sense. I mean zero that you now have the brain bandwidth, the emotional relief from anxiety and fear and worry, the economic mechanism to start at zero and rebuild your life financially. Every time. This is what I've heard from people after they have completed a bankruptcy. I need to throw this in here. If you noticed in this entire video, I have not asked any of you to hit the like button or subscribe to our channel, so I'm asking you to do that now if you've come with us this far in the video. And I also want to take a moment to promote our other business channel called Simple Sense for Small Business. Because if you want to find inspiration, creative ideas about the boring operations about business, we have on that channel hundreds of videos for you to watch that may give you an idea to help you overcome the challenge in your business today that's causing this issue where you're struggling to repay the loan. I'm not talking about folks who are in trouble because of an illness or some severe personal financial crisis. I mean those of you who are small business owners facing challenges in your business, and I'm going to be doing a video about this in the near future, highlighting some comments from our YouTube channel about this concept. People who have a business and who are struggling to repay the COVID loan. And on the Simple Sense for Small Business channel, we have hundreds of videos to inspire you, to give you a strategic advice with concepts you can use to improve your current business situation, earn more money, work smarter, etc. Pop over to that channel. Please subscribe to that channel. We're trying to grow that channel. But I'm sharing it with you not because of any self-interest here. We're trying to grow the channels because I believe in the information that we share on that channel. As I said at this outset of today's video, this commitment that Linda Ray and I have to you as a small business owner is honest and heartfelt and deeply, we are deeply passionate about supporting small business. And if you think we show that passion and commitment on this channel, you ain't seen nothing. Because on the other channel, we really get granular. We get into the dirt, into the mud, rolling up our sleeves, and in that mess of running a small business with you to give you strategies, advice, inspiration. So please pop over to that channel if you want to try to save your business or grow your business or pivot your business. Linda Ray and I both in our careers have pivoted multiple times. We're kind of experts at pivoting and coming up with new concepts and new ways of generating revenue and growing a business. So please pop over there for that inspiration. But if you have done that and you cannot find any way to regain control. Because, as I said earlier, this idea that you have control, you don't have the control you think you have. It doesn't mean you can't potentially regain the control. Maybe you can implement procedures, marketing strategies, revenue increase strategies, cost-cutting strategies that can help you manage cash flow to make the payments on the COVID loan. Maybe you can. And that's regaining control. But right now, if you're in a situation where you don't have control, then you must consider the idea of bankruptcy. There is no shame in it. The impact on your personal credit, if it even appears there, which in the case of most business owners who are protected by a corporate shield, an LLC or a corporation or other such business entity, please watch our other videos about that concept. If you are protected by the corporate shield, the COVID loan being discharged in a business bankruptcy will most likely, in my experience, will not appear on your personal credit report. If you are a sole proprietor with no corporate protection, you file a bankruptcy, then it's a personal bankruptcy. And yes, it will have an impact on your personal credit report. But I'm here to tell you, again, as an expert in credit, it is only temporary. Typically, you can rebuild your personal credit history in 18 to 24 months, that quickly. And you're not losing a lot in that 18 to 24 months, because if you're recovering from bankruptcy, it's unlikely you're going to be going out to buy a new car or a house. And those are basically the impacts. I mean, yes, could it impact things where they check credit, like for insurance premiums? Potentially. But, you have to accept that as part and parcel of the process, the recovery process. We have a guidebook that we wrote several years ago, How to Rebuild Credit After Bankruptcy. There's a link in the description if you'd like to purchase that. Consult with an attorney. Explore your options. The idea of having a conversation with a bankruptcy attorney does not commit you to the concept, does not commit you to the process. You are not doing the bankruptcy. I'm not clear why so many of you are afraid to pick up the phone and call a bankruptcy attorney, because I hear that all the time on the 1-hour consulting calls, on these YouTube comments, like people saying, Trevor, can you give me advice on this? I'm not an attorney. I can't. Call a bankruptcy attorney. Tell them you have a COVID EIDL. If they know what that is, schedule a consultation with them. I learned recently from a bankruptcy attorney in Florida that many bankruptcy attorneys will give you a 15 or 30-minute free consultation, because they understand that people going through financial challenges don't necessarily have the money to pay a fee. So you could potentially get a free consultation. We've seen comments where somebody said the attorney wants $30,000 up front, and other people, they called a law firm, they found advertising on Google for SBA advice, and that attorney wanted $6,500 up front, but wanted the client to do all the work up front, get a Freedom of Information Act file. These are not attorneys you want to talk to. There are bankruptcy attorneys in your community. Contact your bar association and ask for advice, a recommendation. Call an attorney, get a consultation, gather the information from that attorney or several attorneys if you have to. Do your research and then make your decision. But today's video, I wanted to help you get to that point where you're making the call, because as I started out with, we are committed to you as small business owners. We understand you. We are passionate about our assistance to you and helping you understand better these complicated concepts. But you have to relinquish the control that you think you have. You don't have it. So stop thinking you have control over something. And there is no shame. Bankruptcy is a simple, legal, technical procedure. That's all it is. There is no shame in it. If someone ever says to you, oh my God, you filed bankruptcy, you don't want anything to do with that person. I don't care if it's a family member or a friend or a colleague. Anyone who will judge you is an idiot, in my opinion. Because there is no judgment, in my mind, for people who have had to go through life challenges. I hope you found today's video helpful. I hope it will help you find the strength and the courage and the resources to move forward. And if necessary, because of severe circumstances in your life, such as an illness, that you will consult with an attorney and strongly consider the idea of filing a bankruptcy to discharge the COVID loan, get it off your shoulders, and move on with your life. You don't deserve to live this way in a nightmare situation that you didn't create. If you found the video helpful, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, share the video with an attorney or an accountant who really need to hear from us. I've got a video upcoming about attorneys, some other good comment videos, so please stay tuned. And June 14th is the final day we're offering a discount on the purchase of our COVID EIDL Resource Hub guidebook at the current price, which will include all of the updates. June 14th is your final day to make that purchase. Discount code's in the description. And after that date, we will increase the price dramatically. I'm Trevor, the EIDL expert. Thank you for tuning in today, and we want to wish you all the very best in your personal and professional endeavors.